Look, it is extremely important, and if you just look at how we compete with retailers overseas, the opportunity to get our positioning right in Australia and to become really top quality retailers so we can compete is very important. We're not only seeing retailers online competing into Australia, but we're seeing a lot of the big brands coming in from overseas and developing their brands here in Australia. So if we don't get our experience right here in the retail stores, then those retailers coming in from overseas that have got the great experience will be able to do it, and they will in actual fact eat us up. So it's very, very important to get your experience right. It's not about pricing always. Sometimes it's about the range that you've got. Sometimes it's about the kind of product, but the experience within the store and how you handle the customer is becoming more and more important.
Yeah, it's a big challenge. We were talking earlier over breakfast with Russell's input around the really large retailers and the massive amount of investment they've got in technology, process and people. And really that's a task for the marketing team to drive. What is important to the customer from a brand perspective? What is the company's strategy and initiative that they're trying to drive to that customer? And they're looking at the information that's actually relevant.
Well, I think that we've got to go back and look at how bricks and mortar retailing is going to change, and I think that's fundamentally where it is. So at the moment, when we've got retail stores, we put virtually all our SKUs within the stores. You might have A, B and C level stores, but essentially you've got a whole different range of SKUs that you've got within that store. What I think we're going to see long term, and I think this will happen within a shorter space of time than what we think, and we're seeing it already happen in particularly overseas. What we're going to see is stores that will have literally one of each product within the store, and you'll come in, you'll try it on, you'll decide what you want, you'll then order it online in the store, you will walk out, you'll go back to your office or back to your home, and by the time you get there, the delivery will have occurred. Now that's going to obviously work really well in capital cities and some of our more outlying areas within the capital city area. The big challenge will be how we produce that within our country and our regional areas. There's going to be ways it's going to have to be done. It may not be within the hour or two, but it will certainly be a very quick service delivery afterwards. That will completely change the way in which we hold our number of SKUs, because obviously they'll be at a central DC and they'll be moved very quickly out of that into the consumer's hands. If you look back, there's a lot of people who just started a business in Australia. Those people who are starting a business now in Australia can't do it in the same way as what would have happened 25, 30 years ago. 25, 30 years ago, open the door and basically everything happened from there onwards. Now, if you're going to open a retail store in Australia, you've got to have a lot of different focus, and it's got to be not just about the store, it's got to be about the experience, it's got to be about the online section of it, understanding that all that has to mix together. You just can't have it as separate silos. It's got to be completely integrated, because if it's not, it won't work.
Yeah, well, the real solution for that is digital asset management, and that's managing so many different types. The key thing we're seeing in terms of the output of that very varied data is the number of channels. We support over 23 channels, whether it's social, whether it's driven through email, through a website. But the key thing is the different types of rich media and digital media that's driving that change. And that can be so many different types. We have customers that use 3D CAD files. We have customers that use high resolution video. Customers, of course, are using very high impact color coded digital data as well. Having all of that data in one place, but keeping the brand message consistent, is what digital asset management does and is a key advantage to global enterprises. Yeah, a lot of trouble. It's a key thing that the customer deliverable is actually the content that you're driving through the process. And we've seen customers have issues with the wrong content going out to market. whether an interest rate or whether it's the wrong price point or the wrong image. It's not been signed off correctly by external agency, but also more importantly by executive in the brand. And you're spiraling out of control in managing that data set. At the end of the day, that is your key deliverable to get that image out on time to beat your competitor, or a seasonal drive, which of course is key in retailing. If you haven't got that managed centrally and correctly with the right policies and procedures, you're going to fail as a brand.